Yes. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, and he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, What is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there hath been also a great slaughter among the people. Thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. And it came to pass, when he made mention of the ark of God, that he fell from the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died. For he was an old man and heavy, and he had judged Israel 40 years. And his daughter-in-law, Phinehas's wife, was with child near to be delivered. And when she heard the tidings of the ark of God was taken, that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and travailed, and her pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the women that stood by her said unto her, Fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, neither did she regard it. And she named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory is departed from Israel, because the ark of God was taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, The glory is departed from Israel, for the ark of God is taken. Now, I don't know, and she said of her death. Yeah, she died in childbirth, but Ichabod was born, yes. Now, this idea, right, of this is never going to happen. Well, there was this child Samuel, yes, and he heard from God, and he told Eli, and Eli asked him to tell him. Yeah. And quite often when I mention certain lawsuits, and usually each day there's maybe 1 to 10 lawsuits, depending on what day it is. Yes. And you said, well, we can't remove our court orders because we issued the order. Yes. And it's a commandment unto myself. Yes. See, a protection order commands the individual known as the respondent. Yes. Not to violate the restraint provisions. It's my responsibility, as I told them. It's my responsibility to inform law enforcement of the fraud, yes, and the forgery, yes, and the misrepresentation, yes, so that they can remove it because of the crime of issuing it. Now, for all the judges that thought, no, we're not legally liable, pooh. Anytime you use a court in, well, this nation, other nations, they'll find out about this. Yes, I did email the constitutional courts in most of the democracies of the world that you used a forgery of the ex officio superior court clerk. Right. And the petitioner didn't appear in court. Yes. And you didn't do what the requirements of the RCWs are. Yes. And you didn't give me any notice or opportunity to be heard. Right. And then you took my sons. Yes. You gave custody of my sons to my wife, and they were in the wrong grades for 7.5 years, and they're ineligible to be drafted in university football systems. Now, it doesn't take a prophet, yes, to know, okay, that when you do not do the requirements of the law, I have the legal right to sue you. Yes. Then you made up multiple crimes that I didn't commit. Right. And for some reason, you think, yes, that I'm crazy to understand exactly what you've done. Now, the whole plan was, right, we will not remove a court order. Because we are not going to enforce the actual laws of the United States. I'm that one American citizen, yes, that you happened, right, to issue a dissolution of marriage where I didn't get any notice of court hearings. That's right. There was quite a bit of fraud in the issuance of it. Yes, the marriage certificate was from the United Nations, right, and then I didn't get a dissolution of marriage after you issued it. You're saying there is no lawsuit. I don't have a leg to stand on. I don't care what he says. There's no possible way he could sue us.